Thank you. All right, good afternoon. The Memphis and Shelby County Board of Adjustment is hereby called to order for its regularly scheduled meeting of December 17th, 2025. My name is Tim Rainey. I'm chairman of the board. Mr. Jeffrey Penzis serves as secretary of the board. Mr. Penzis, may I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Bruce.
Present.
Mr. Campbell.
Present.
Here.
Mr. Love.
Here.
Ms. Skurlock.
Here.
And Chair Rainey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. The Memphis and Shelby County Board of Adjustment is the oldest appointed governmental body in Memphis and Shelby County. We were established in 1925. The board hears appeals from the administration of the zoning ordinance, requests for variances from the zoning ordinance, and other requests as articulated by local zoning laws pursuant to the enabling legislation. The 8 members of the board are appointed, 4 by the mayor of Memphis and 4 by the mayor of Shelby County, with confirmation by the Memphis City Council or the Shelby County Board of Commissioners. We serve without remuneration. At this time, I'd like to swear in the staff. You may all remain seated. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, thank you. May I get a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion or seeing none? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. Let the record show the vice chair has joined us. Mr. Secretary, could you provide us a secretary's report, if there is one this month, and then explain the procedure for today's meeting?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. As for the Secretary's report, there are no announcements this afternoon. The procedure for this meeting will be as follows. I will introduce each case as listed on the agenda. Copies of the agenda can be found on the front podium. For each case, the planner with the Division of Planning and Development will give a presentation. At the conclusion of the staff presentation, the applicant will have 5 minutes to present his or her case. After the applicant's presentation, those speakers in support will have a total of 5 minutes. Then those speakers in opposition will have a total of 10 minutes, and then finally the applicant will have 2 minutes to provide rebuttal. These times do not include time for questions from and answers to members of the board. The chairman may provide additional time provided both sides are given an equal amount of additional time. All parties who wish to provide testimony to the board will be sworn in by the chairman. If a member of the audience wishes to provide testimony in support of or in opposition to a particular case on today's agenda, he or she will need to fill out a speaker's card for the record. Speaker's cards are available at the front podium. Once filled out, speaker's cards can be submitted to any DPD staff member at the left podium. We do not need speaker's cards from the applicants since their names are already part of the record. After all parties have been heard, the board will close the public hearing, make a motion, and then deliberate on the case. If the applicant or any speaker would like to be heard after the conclusion of the public hearing, or if a board member wishes to hear additional testimony from any party, a 2/3 vote is required to reopen the public hearing pursuant to the board's rules of procedure. Please note that once the public hearing is reopened, both the applicant and opposition will be allowed to provide additional testimony and/or rebuttal. All motions by this board will be made in the affirmative. The private acts governing the board require the affirmative vote of at least 5 members to approve an application regardless of the number of board members present. The board may also vote to hold an application for a period not to exceed 3 months with the consent of the applicant or 1 month without the consent of the applicant. All section numbers that we refer to come from the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code, or the UDC, which was adopted by the Memphis City Council and Shelby County Board of Commissioners in August of 2010 and became effective on January 1st, 2011. I will introduce the entire UDC and make it part of today's record, thus dispensing with the reading of individual sections. The board is vested with the power to act on these cases provided before us today under the provisions of Chapter 9.22 of the UDC. Mr. Chairman, I submit that all cases have been filed in proper order, all applicants have been notified of this hearing, and all notice requirements have been fulfilled as required by the UDC.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. At this point, the board will establish a consent agenda. To establish the consent agenda, the secretary will read out each eligible case. If any member of the audience, staff, or board member objects to that case being placed on the consent agenda, he or she should do so by a show of hands when the secretary reads that case. Once the consent agenda is established, the board will vote on all cases placed on the consent agenda as a whole and will not hold individual public hearings on those cases. Mr. Secretary, what items are eligible to be placed on consent today?
Item number 1, BOA 2025-99 at 3734 Ironwood Drive as a hold for 1 month. Item number 5, BOA 2025-117 at 1576 Carr Avenue as approval with conditions. Item number 6, BOA 2025-120 at 5384 Poplar Avenue as approval with conditions. Item number 7, BOA 2025-121 at 4135 East Shelby Drive as approval with conditions with friendly amendments to conditions 3, 4, and 6, which I will read into the record. Number 3 will now read, for the street frontage east of the western entrance drive, the modified streetscape plate shall include a 40-foot parking buffer located between the sidewalk and parking areas of the site. For condition number 4, a modified Class 3 Type C buffer shall be installed along the eastern boundary of the site abutting any residential use. Any fencing adjacent to a residential use must be site-proof and may include a chain link fence with vinyl privacy screen. And condition number 6 will now read, the applicant shall design and submit a storm water pollution prevention plan with the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation to obtain a construction general permit. Next is item number 11, BOA 2025-126 at 4860 Getwell Road as a hold for 1 month. Item number 12, BOA 2025-127 at 3141 Ferris View Road as a hold for 1 month. Item number 13, BOA 2025-130 at 3389 Dawn Drive as approval with conditions, with a friendly amendment to accept the revised site plan that the applicant has provided, which complies with the city fire department comments relating to adding a fire truck turnaround area, which will increase the parking reduction variance to a total of 18 spaces, where 157 were required by the UDC compared to the 139 provided. And item number 14, BOA 2025-131 at 248 West Davant Avenue as approval with conditions. And lastly, item number 15, BOA 2025-132 at 952 South Highland Street as approval with conditions.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, I'm going to need a motion to approve the consent agenda as established by the secretary, which is number 1 is a hold, 5 and 6 approval with conditions, 7 approval with conditions as amended by the conditions the secretary read out to us, 11 and 12 as holds, 13 as amended by the newly given site plan, and then 14, 15 as conditioned by staff.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I want to remind the board that by voting on the consent agenda, he or she affirms that he or she has read the staff report and is in full agreement with the conditions. Mr. Secretary, may I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Bruce,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Claybrook,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Ms. Scurlock,
Yes.
Vice Chair Savage Selden.
Yes, I'm finding that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 are being met and will not be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
And Chair Rainey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so all those have been approved or held as requested. So if you're here for those, feel free to stick around, or you can go about your way, and we will see you next year. Mr. Secretary, will you call our first case we're going to hear today?
Item number 2, BOA 2025-109 at 7391 Easterly Lane.
All right, is the applicant present on this case? Okay, if you'll go ahead and come down to the front row, and you can take a seat, sir. And then is there any opposition to this case? All right, thank you. We're gonna have a brief staff report and then we'll hear from you. Ms. Christian, can you give us a staff report, please?
Yes. Good afternoon. I'm Chloe Christian with DPD. I'll be presenting this case today. It's BOA 2025-0109. This is located at 7391 Easterly Lane. The applicant, Mr. Wesley Dorsey, is here with us today. And there are two variance requests being considered. One is to allow a gazebo in the front yard, and the second one is to allow some various minor setback encroaches into the 5-foot side and rear yard setbacks. So the property is located in the Lake Village neighborhood, north of the Tennessee-Mississippi state line. As I mentioned before, there's two requests being considered here, and we have split recommendations for both of them. So we have recommendation of rejection for the gazebo in the front yard and approval for the minor setback encroachments. Part of the reasoning for the rejection of the front yard gazebo is that the UDC does allow for some accessory structures to be located in the front yard by right, and we find that that would be an acceptable alternative. Additionally, there is a pending enforcement case on the subject property as the gazebo and one of the accessory structures in the rear were built without the proper permits. Here's a zoning map of the property. It's zoned single-family residential, or residential single-family 10, and surrounded by single-family land uses. Here are some photos of the property. These are the code enforcement photos of the front yard gazebo on the left-hand side, and then on the right are photos of the two-story accessory structure. I will note there's no dwelling happening in the structure. It's being used for storage and as a gym, as you can see in that top photo. This is a survey of the property. You can see to the rear of the structure, there are two storage buildings that have encroachments of around 1.5 to 1.7 feet into the 5-foot required setback. And then in red at the front of the property is the gazebo. So in subsection 3.9.2E of the UDC, there are some clear distinctions of what types of accessory structures can be built in the front yard of the home, specifically pergolas, which are buildings without an enclosed roof, would be allowed by right. And the structure that Mr. Dorsey constructed, of course, does not have an open roof and also has a side wall, which is clearly not meeting the intent of the Unified Development Code. So as I mentioned, the UDC is pretty clear about certain structures not being permitted to be in front of the home. There is a by right alternative for a front yard structure, and staff does not support the request to allow the gazebo in the front yard. Additionally, there is not a hardship or practical difficulty that's been presented that justifies the approval of this request. However, we do recommend approval of the variance to allow setback encroachments to the rear and side yard of the property. So we've recommended approval of request 2 with the conditions that are on the screen. And that concludes my presentation, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions for staff?
Quick question now, the gazebo is already constructed, right? Is it just there hadn't been a citation, or has there been a citation?
Yes, the gazebo is constructed and there's been a citation.
Thank you.
The gazebo was cited, the stuff in the back wasn't cited, that was just probably we noticed when we did a survey? Does that make sense?
The citation included all of the buildings, that were built without the permit.
Oh, that's right, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he built the 3 things. There's 2 in the back, and one in the front?
So the structure in the green was not built by the applicant.
Okay,
The other two were.
gotcha. Does he need to get a building permit after this is approved for that?
Yes.
Okay, but we don't need that doesn't need to be a condition, that's just something he has to do. Okay, thank you. Other questions? Okay, if the applicant will come forward, please. And sir, if you'll give your name and address for the record. Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Wesley Dorsey, 7391 East Street Lane, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and share with us, Mr. Dorsey.
Good afternoon. I want to thank the board for allowing me the opportunity to speak here. I also thank Ms. Chloe for assisting and guiding with this procedure, with this situation. How did I get here? Glad you asked. I did just like any other taxpaying homeowner usually do that doesn't have the skill to do this type of work. You go out and find yourself a contractor. Exactly what I did. 7 years ago, this structure was built. On 10/4/19, I hired Jose Construction to build me a 2-story storage room. Paid him a total of $13,123 for the material and the labor, and also the building permit. Well, evidently that didn't take place. Sometime around June 25th of 2025, an inspector came out by the name of Miss Alicia, left a note on my door stating some illegal plumbing was going on, but at that time was nothing going on, no construction was going on at all. So I called her back and asked her what's the problem, and she stated some illegal plumbing was going on. I said, no, you can come out and take a look. So she did. Her and her staff came out, total 8 individuals came out, took a look at what was going on the property. None of that stuff was going on. She thought it was a mother-in-law suite. I told her that was not the case. But cut it short, she stated there was no permit pool for that particular structure. At that time, I told her I didn't know about that. I told her it was because I had paid this contractor this amount of money to take care of this for me. Well, she said it was not, and a permit will have to be pulled. And I did just that. I started the process, so that's how we end up here with this process. Me applying for the variant for the setback because she stated that it was not enough room between the property line. So I started the process and trying to make it happen because I want to be, I want to be right. This is my home that I've been living in for 25 years. So if there's something wrong, I want to bring it up to code. And that's why I'm here today. Mind you, the gazebo, if you can take a look at page 8 in the package that Ms. Chloe gave you guys. When this gazebo was being built, the first thing I did was to reach out to code enforcement. And the question I asked them, do I need a permit to build this structure? The young man stated to me, if it's not more than a certain amount of square footage. So I told her it was 54 square footage. It's about 8 by 6. Stated that I didn't need a permit. So, therefore, I decided to build a gazebo in the front to the side of my yard. Now, if you can take a look at page 8, and this is a view from the street. If you look at the view from the street, the gazebo is not visible at all. Wouldn't you agree? not visible at all. But I want, once again, I want to be, I want to do the right thing by all means necessary. Now, if I'm not allowed to have a gazebo, if I need to make some modification, I will do so. But at this time, I will ask the board to grant me the variance for the two-story structure, also the gazebo.
Let me ask you a couple questions about the gazebo. Does it have a foundation, or is it all just a wooden structure built above ground?
It's a floating gazebo.
Sure, okay. All right, other questions?
I got a question. On that same, I'm trying to locate it on that same view you told us from the front yard. Where is it located in relationship to that? Is it back left? Okay,
What's that now?
tree. Okay. He answered my question. I was trying to see where the gazebo was located.
Okay. Front left. I guess you're looking from the street, front left, yes.
So on the survey of the house, on the west side of the house, you have looks like probably a wooden fence with the brick columns. Is there a reason why it's not on the property line?
Not on the property line?
Yeah, would you be able to pull up the survey? So if you look where you have your measurement of 125.17 on the left side. So the western thing, go up just a little bit. There's a fence, the X's.
Right, that's a fence.
So that fence isn't on your property line. Your property extends a good bit, probably in the back, 40 feet.
That's correct. Now, I think that fence was already existing before I got there.
Yeah.
And I think that was the big, and I didn't do my due diligence in getting a survey myself to see where my property line began and ended. So, yes, I just found that out myself and identified that, yes, that is correct.
You may want to let your neighbor know.
Oh, I will believe that, yes.
That you own
yes.
that.
Can't wait, can't wait, yes. Yes.
Any other questions? Yeah, you also have room on the other side too.
Yes.
By the gazebo, you got 4 feet. But those brick columns probably aren't the cheapest to tear down and move. Okay, and Ms. Christian, tell us again, as far as the gazebo, we're not supposed to have anything, not just in front of the setback, but in front of the principal structure. Isn't that right? Like, it's not like you could just move it 15 feet and be behind the setback. It's still in front, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Now, granted, it's gazebo throughout my neighborhood. I mean, if you would drive on any street, matter of fact, in the front yard, throughout the neighborhood, period. So it's not something that I decided to do and not knowing that, something different, but yes, throughout the neighborhood. And I think I had a couple that I showed you. That's right around the corner from my house right there. I think I had.
Yeah, what makes the big difference with yours is just the fact it's not big, it's just the roof and the wall are what kind of mess it up for where it would be allowed there.
But if you're not looking hard, you can't even see it.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Dorsey?
Can she pull up that rule again with the 4 gazebos and we allow, yeah. So it's really just the open roof is really the biggest thing.
Yeah, and the wall.
But this one doesn't have it.
It's a back wall. Back wall solid.
how do you typically use the gazebo? Like, what is it generally used for?
I have a lot of guests, you know, especially during the summertime, springtime, and sometimes you don't like to track everybody into your house. So that's a good place for me to meet. And sometimes I have meetings, you know, employees stop by sometimes, just want to talk, and that's a good place for me to just stop out there and meet them and we have a little chat, whatever case may be, you know.
Are there any utilities ran to it, electrical,
No,
anything?
no,
Okay.
no. And it was surprising. Many neighbors, my neighbor, when the thing came out, when she sent the postcard out stating to the neighborhood that we was having a meeting about this gazebo and the structure, they had no idea that I had a gazebo in the front yard.
Right. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
I just want to make sure that nobody's here in opposition to this case. Okay, perfect. So if we could get a motion to approve, let's do this. Let's split this up a little bit. So let's do a motion to approve request 2 and 3, which are the rear structures, and then we'll come back and do the other one. So we get a motion to approve items 2 and 3.
So,
Second.
Okay, any discussion on those particular items?
You know, just want to clarify that one of the storage units is already in existence, right? And then we have a new one, so, okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're over those little setbacks. But don't have a lot of heartburn on that at all. So, any other thoughts? All right, so let's go ahead. Mr. Penzis, can you give us a roll call vote on that motion?
Mr. Bruce,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
yes.
Mr. Claybrook,
Yes.
Mr. Love. Ms. Gerlach,
Yes.
Vice Chair Savage Selden,
Yes, I find that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 are being met and will not be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
and Chair Rainey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Now, if we could get a motion to approve the first variance that relates to the gazebo in the front yard.
So move.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that one?
Since the pergola type construction is allowed, I would think it'd be just a matter of maybe modifying the existing gazebo to fit. That, because it doesn't require tearing down the entire structure. It's actually, you know, moving and opening up.
That's what I was thinking as well. Like, you know, if he's open for it, sort of getting rid of it, just retrofit it, either take the roof off or just make it a pergola type roof. I mean, I don't think there's any rule that says you can't even just have exposed structural members in that same pitch. And that would be the easiest thing to do.
You know, like a framed out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with what you're saying, we would vote no and just let him make it a pergola. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
The other option would be move it, you know, keep it just like it is, but it would have to go to the backyard. Now, it needs to be behind the principal structure. Is that behind the front or like behind the whole structure? Does that make sense?
Behind the front facade. If it remains the
Okay.
gazebo.
Could
The
you
pergola
pull
could be in the front.
Right, the pergola, open it up, you can do it there. So the question would be, if he moved that 15 feet, basically behind the front setback, where it's behind his, I'm assuming that's garage that sticks out. would that then be in compliance?
So on that side, like there would be compliant. On the other side, you'd go back to go down, Chloe, where it says yep, it'd be like that.
So we'd have to go, okay, to that
Yeah.
side of the front facade of that part of the house?
Yes, yes.
Question.
Yes.
How many different structures can you have on this site?
Essentially as many as he wants, as long as it doesn't exceed 75% of the total floor area of the house, so he should be okay.
But all the structures put together?
Yes, all the accessory structures put together.
Okay, any other thoughts? Okay, all right, then, I assume you're ready to vote. Can you give us a roll call, please, sir?
Mr. Bruce,
No.
Mr. Campbell,
No.
Mr. Claybrook,
No.
Mr. Love,
No.
Ms. Skurlock,
No.
Vice Chair Savage Selden.
No, I find that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 will not be met and will be duly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
And Chair Rainey.
No.
Motion fails.
That motion fails. So, Mr. Dorsey, you're approved for the,
Mhm.
oh, you moved back. Okay, I was like, he's not on the front. Your stuff in the back, no problem. You need to either open that pergola up or make it a pergola or move it further back as far as the gazebo in the front. All right, thank you much. Mr. Penzis, we call the next case, please.
Item number 3, BOA 2025-110 at 2760 Old Austin P. Highway.
All right, is the applicant here on this case? Is there any opposition on Old Austin? And we got some opposition too. So you're good where you are at the opposite. If anyone wants to come a little closer just so we can move it along, that'd be great. But what we're gonna do first is hear from staff and they're gonna give us a report on this one.
Good afternoon, I'm Trusa Buosi. I'm presenting on BOA 2025-0110. It's located at 2760 Old Austin P. Road. The applicant is requesting for 4 variances. One is to allow a shipping container buildings. The second is to allow a barbed wire fence. The third is to allow a lot that is less than 20,000 square feet. And the fourth request is to allow a contractor storage for agricultural equipment indoors. This is the location map and it is zoned as agriculture. I'm going to take the requests one by one. So the first one, the applicant wants us to allow him to build shipping container buildings and he's intending to use it for agriculture storage. These buildings are already there and it is, there's a code enforcement case to it. So the applicant says that there are other shipping containers in the vicinity, and so we should allow him keep these there, but those are also not compliant to the code and cannot be a reason to request for a variance. The applicant also stated that he had these containers in the town of Bartlett, but they said he couldn't keep it there, so that is why he has moved it to our jurisdiction. And he hasn't demonstrated why the shipping containers must occur and why it should be used for agricultural storage equipment. So according to staff, there's no demonstrated hardship or practical difficulty requiring the use of shipping containers here. So for this first request, we are recommending a rejection. The second is to allow a barbed wire fence, which the fence already exists as well. But according to the UDC, a barbed wire fence is only allowed when you are raising livestock on the property. But he doesn't intend to raise livestock here. He only wants to store equipment. And he hasn't also demonstrated a hardship or a practical difficulty. So we are also recommending a rejection. The third request is to allow a lot that is less than 20,000 square feet. And this request is triggered by the reason that he wants to put buildings here. But if it was just for agriculture use only, we wouldn't need this request. So we are recommending approval with conditions.
And the final request is to allow contractor storage of agriculture equipment indoors. And we think that in a CA district, if he mentioned that he wanted to build a barn, but because of the lot size, so we said that if we approve this request, then he will be allowed to have a barn to store the agriculture equipment instead of shipping containers. So we are also recommending approval with conditions. This is the summary of the 2 rejections and 2 approval with conditions with these conditions. Now, if we move forward, this is the site plan the applicant presented to allow 2 shipping container buildings with barbed wire fences. These are the UDC languages. His lot is about 15,000 square feet, which doesn't meet the UDC requirement. These are some side photos of the applicant's property, and this is staff recommendation. I'm ready to answer any questions. Thank you.
Are there any questions for staff?
So that I'm clear, you're allowing or approving for him to build a storage or a barn
Yes.
to house, but not the use of the
Shipping containers.
shipping containers.
Mhm.
Okay. If the applicant will come forward. And if you'll give your name and address for the record, sir.
I am Leland Hathaway, and I live at 6367 Fisk Road, Bartlett, Tennessee 38135.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and share with us, Mr. Hathaway.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead and share your thoughts on the case.
I purchased this property, a little more than a third of an acre, and it was originally in platted in a commercial subdivision, but subsequently the city changed the zoning on it. So I am hoping that I will be able to find a use for this property. I would like to build a barn on the property. My wife is a sheep rancher. I told her it was a bad idea, but at any rate, she's involved in this pursuit. So I would like to build a barn on this property, and I've been told that I can build a house, but can't build a barn. And that seems very illogical given the location of the property. I can't imagine anyone, including the city, wanting a home on this property.
And how big, I'm researching stuff, how big is that lot again?
It's a little more than a third of an acre.
So I'm trying to pull up the plat, and I see where it's part of you know how big the original lot was? Let's see, I'm trying to find it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If I remember looking at the subdivision plat, there are 3 lots, and I believe he owns all of one of them. If you look on, let's see what page of our report, you can see, I think, where on page like 5, you can see the other 2 lots are slightly further to the north. And it looks like those lots have probably become unbuildable.
Yeah, I was looking at his deed when he bought it, and it's lot 3, and it has a less than accept, but it looks like it's just for the widening of the highway.
Gotcha.
So he kind of still has that original lot. Okay.
So his lot size is just under 16,000 square feet.
Okay. So what they're suggesting you do is build a barn, as opposed to, would you be willing to build a barn instead of using the containers?
Yes.
Okay. And then are you okay with the fence not having barbed wire on it?
Yes, I do not need to use barbed wire for fencing.
Okay, okay. And can he use chain link without barbed wire in that location? Would it be in?
He could use chain link if it was black, brown, or green and part of an evergreen landscaping system. So he could paint it and put evergreen in front of it.
Okay. All right. Well, what we can do, if we don't have, does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Hathaway? We're going to reserve some time for you from your presentation. We have some people that want to be in opposition, and so you'll have time to rebut or answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, so we'll have 9 minutes left. All right, so I have two people. We're going to move to the opposition. I have two people here that would like to speak in opposition. Does one of them want to come up first, or do we call a name? If you'll give your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon. I'm Evan Thompson, 2732 Old Austin P. I'm Tucker subdivision, Lot 1 and Lot 2, just to the north of the property.
Okay.
I was in opposition.
Give me 1 second. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Evan.
I was in opposition until I found out that he wanted to build a barn. I'm okay if he builds the barn. I just don't want the metal storage containers there. I'm opposed to the painting of the chain link fence. It needs to be vinyl coated black fence, which is what I was required to use by code enforcement. The property just to the north, which is about 100 to 150 feet to the south of Mr. Hathaway's property, I just built a $700,000 building there. I've improved the area tremendously over the last 23 years, and in total between lots 1 and 2, I've spent about $1.5 million. I just don't want to see any blight on that property.
And tell me again where your property is.
I'm the 2 subdivisions directly south.
Gotcha.
I don't have them for the screen, but I do have an aerial picture.
Where the road wraps around your property a little bit?
That is correct.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right, any questions for Mr. Thompson? Okay, thank you much.
Thank you, and I believe that the second opposition basically is going to have the same exact output.
Okay.
Would you like to say anything? I guess
Okay.
you would.
If you'll go ahead and come up, Ms. Whitefield.
Hello, my name is Robbie Whitefield, and I would like to say a few words.
Can you give your address real quick, and I'll swear you in?
Pardon?
If you can give your address, and then I'll swear you in. The address where you live.
I live in the neighborhood.
Okay.
I've been living there since 1969.
Okay. What street number?
4110 Palm.
Okay, and then
There's one way in and one way out.
Okay. And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Pardon?
Do you swear to tell the truth?
I didn't understand.
Your testimony.
Yeah, just say yes. Just that you're swearing to tell the truth.
Yeah, it's like a court.
It's an eyesore to the community, and I have lived there since 1969.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And the storage containers that are there now, or any that would be there in the future, is it's an eyesore to the community, and it invites homeless people, and we have other places here for homeless people to go to, but they desire to go into places like that. And the Wolf River runs behind that property. So I just wanted my say about the neighborhood, because I'd love to have it built up, and Hotsy keeps theirs neat, clean, and a lot of the properties in town is going down, 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 and we need more code and more beautiful things in our city. And I'm concerned about the neighborhood. I'm concerned about the eyesore of coming into the neighborhood where this property is, where those containers are. And it just looks bad.
Okay. All right.
So,
Thank you very much. All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, we'll have the record show that she held her hand up in oath. All right, Mr. Hathaway, I think those are my only two oppositions. You want to come back? Do you have anything we need to add? You don't have to. No. Okay. All right, so if we could get...
Mr. Chairman, could we just ask the applicant one question?
Yes,
if he has any opposition to the use of chain link being vinyl coated?
Do you have a problem with it being vinyl coated chain link fence?
Well, there's currently a fence front of the property that's...
If you'll scoot over just a little, because this gets recorded is all. Okay.
There's currently a fence on the west side of the property. It's a high-grade, high-quality fence that was put up by TOD, Department of Transportation. And it is galvanized, and I would prefer to match that finish, but if it needs to be a different color, then I'm willing to do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And then I'm going to ask staff again. Remind me, what does the code allow as far as a fence?
So the code does say the vinyl coated,
It
but
does.
administratively we can allow other things. But I just wanted to know if he had any opposition. That way we could just make it a condition to ensure.
Yeah, and
get
just
what
to
we
do
want.
what the code says. Yeah. Okay. So, all right, if we could get a motion to approve items 3 and 4 of the staff report.
So moved.
Second. All right, is there any discussion on items 3 and 4, which are the lot being less than 20,000 square feet and then allowing the contractor storage, basically to build the barn? Okay. Then, and let the record show that Ms. Conrad is with us. If we could get a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Claybrook,
This is just for 3 and 4, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Bruce,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Ms. Scurlock, Vice Chair Savage Selden,
Yes, I find that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 are being met and will not be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
and Chair Rainey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, so let's also then get a motion to approve variances 1 and 2, which a vote yes here would allow shipping containers and allow a barbed wire fence. I think we're probably, which he has said he's okay not getting those, but let's go ahead and vote on it. So can we get a motion to approve items 1 and 2 of 2025-110?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion on those? All right, so we're going to roll call vote, and again, a no vote would be what he had agreed to do. So go ahead, Mr. Pincus.
Mr. Claybrook,
No.
Mr. Campbell,
No.
Mr. Bruce,
No.
Ms. Conrad,
No.
Mr. Love,
No.
Ms. Scurlock,
No.
Vice Chair Savage Selden,
No, I find that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 will not be met and will be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
And Chair Rainey.
No.
Motion fails.
All right. So you've been approved to build the building, and so you can build the shed or the storage thing and use it on that lot, but you have to just comply with code on the fence. All right, if we can call the next case, please.
Item number 4, BOA 2025-115 at 1187 East Irvin Drive.
Okay, is the applicant present on this case? If the applicant will come forward and also have some people here in opposition, so if y'all will be close, and we'll, y'all just have a seat down at the front, and we'll get a staff report.
Hi, everyone. My name is Travian. I'm the planner here at DPD. Today we'll be presenting case BOA 2025-0115. The applicant and representative for this case is Paul Henge. The location, again, is at 1187 East Irvine Drive. And this is a request for a variance from subsection 2.7.1E and paragraph 2.7.2A3 to allow a metal carport in front of the principal structure. On the left-hand side, as you can see, there's a location map, and this is located out in East Tennessee area. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the vicinity map, which basically demonstrates where the public notices have been sent at. And again, 126 notices were mailed on November 24th, 2025. Here you can see the zoning map of the lot. And on the right-hand side, you can see the land use map. And as you can see, it is located within a single-family zoning district. Here is an aerial view of the map. On the left-hand side, this is an aerial view that was provided by the applicant that demonstrates where the carport is located, whereas on the right-hand side, you can see this is the outline of the property. Here are some photos that were provided by code enforcement. And again, this is a photo of the metal carport that's located in front of the principal structure. Here's some site photos provided, and as you can see, it gives more context to the neighborhood and the property. Here's a survey that was provided by the applicant. And here's the UDC clauses that are affected. And as I've spoken before, it is from subsection 2.7.1E, which says any accessory structure shall be compatible with the architectural character of the principal structure. And with paragraph 2.7.2A3, no accessory structure shall extend into the required front or side street yards. Disregard this one. And in conclusion, as written on the staff report is from, that speaks about how, again, subsection 2.7.1E and paragraph 2.7.2A3, how the applicant is seeking an approval for the metal carport in the front yard to be permitted on the property. The property is 1764 square feet with an attached garage and a detached metal carport in front of the garage that we're speaking about today. The metal detached carport is not permitted as outlined within the subsection 2.7.1E, as it is not compatible with the principal structure. I provided the elevation photos on the staff report. As you can see, the applicant has failed to provide any unusual characteristics of the property compared to others, and that creates any kind of undue hardship or practical difficulties to approve a variance. It does not mention any a lack of any detached carport that can cause an undue hardship. And lastly, it will cause a substantial detriment to the public good. And then as you can see on the last final pages, there are 15 letters of opposition that were received. Staff recommends rejection. However, if approved, the staff recommends the following conditions, which is to have a final site plan submitted to the Division of Planning and Development based on approval by administrative review, and then also a change or deviation to the site plan that was submitted. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
You could give your name and address for the record for me.
Yes. Yes. I am Paul Henge, 1187 East Irvin Drive, Memphis, Tennessee, 38119.
Okay. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and share with us.
Okay. I'm not so good at winging it, so I wrote it out. Mr. Travian did put it up. I'm going to address, he had 6 bullet points in his conclusions. The first one was a statement, so I didn't seem to respond. So I'll respond to the rest. Also, 3 and 6 seem to be both mentioned undue hardship, so I put those together as well. So, detached metal carport is not permitted. Any accessory structure should be compatible with the architectural character of the principal scripture. The proposed carport is designed to complement the architectural character of the principal scripture. Its size and mass are proportionate to the home. They do not overwhelm the property. The home and the carport both feature neutral colors, tan and gray, that I feel blend well naturally with the surroundings. I have a lot of mature trees and plants. And also the horizontal orientation of the carport siding mirrors the horizontal siding of my home, reinforcing this consistency. Additionally, I do plan to repaint the home in the spring, and if desired, I can match the carport to the roof line to further enhance the visual cohesion. They'll blend in much better. While the materials do differ, this variation does not detract from the overall character or aesthetic from the property. It is also important to note that a carport is set back approximately 50 feet from the center line of the road, maintaining appropriate spatial separation and visual balance. 3 and 6. Practical difficulties or undue hardship. Upon further review, I wish to amend my previous statement regarding undue hardship. Initially, I interpreted this undue hardship as a severe personal burden. However, I now understand it can apply to significant financial or practical difficulties. In my case, denial of the variance would result in considerable expense and property alteration. My property contains numerous mature trees, shrubs, and plants that contribute to its appeal and align with the neighborhood character. I do have several other photos. A lot of them were in the report. Could you pull those up real quick, please? I took some newer photos showing more of the enormity and the size of my trees that I have. My garage currently accommodates 2 vehicles, a daily driver car and a motorcycle, along with other items typically stored in the garage, lawnmower, bicycles, barbecue grill. Due to the garage's size and layout, there's no practical way to add a 3rd vehicle without making significant structural changes. I've explored alternatives, such as expanding the driveway to the south side of my home or enlarging the garage. Both options would necessitate removing significant vegetation, including mature hedges, numerous smaller trees, and a large sweet gum tree, and would substantially increase visibility from the street. These changes would not only diminish the property's character, but also impose prohibitive financial burden. Falling limbs have already caused damage to my vehicles. That's Exhibit B, some of the dents from parking in the driveway uncovered. Over the past 2.5 years, I have spent several $1,000s on tree maintenance to protect my home and vehicles. Eliminating these hazards entirely would require extensive trimming and tree removal, drastically altering the property's appearance. Allowing variance to place the carport on the existing driveway offers a practical and cost-effective solution that preserves the property's appearance and minimizes unnecessary expenses. Number 4, variance from the strict application of this code may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without substantially impairing the intent and purpose of the adopted planning code. The staff report states, quote, granting of this variance will cause substantial detriment to the public good. It will substantially impair the intent and purpose of the adopted plan or unified development code. It will be injurious to the neighborhood and the general welfare, and it will not be in harmony with the purpose and intent of the UDC. Yet the report does not provide any specific examples or evidence to support these claims of detriments or injuries. Typically, a substantial detriment or injury to the neighborhood would involve impacts on one or more of the following: public safety, environmental integrity, public health, neighbors' quality of life. A simple portable carport does not create any of these adverse effects, and the staff report provides no specific examples to substantiate its claim. Furthermore, of the 11 other city agencies consulted for comments, only the fire division responded, and their comments do not apply to a portable carport. Therefore, aside from the staff report, there is no documented opposition from any city agency regarding the variance. Number 5, my report had 14 letters. I don't want to grow to 15, but that's okay. As shown in the report, my home is located in Park Gardens subdivision, and I've always considered myself to be part of Cielo Park, where I pay dues and receive SIPNA newsletter like other residents in my area. I've spoken with several of my immediate neighbors, and none expressed concerns with my carport. As this is my first variance request, I did not think to obtain written letters of support beforehand, but one did come in person. From reviewing the opposition letters included in the staff report, it appears that most, if not all, were generated in response to an email from the Yorkshire Neighborhood Association sent to select neighbors. Several letters are for people who live outside of the official notice mailing area, so unless they really keep a track, it's not likely that they were aware of this variance request. And I'd also like to note that only one letter is from anyone on my street. Sorry, skip ahead. Also, a recurring theme evident across these letters, including comments signed by Ray Gill III, who has a Germantown mailing address and whose property is almost a mile away from my home. I've never heard of this association before, and my online search yielded no evidence of its existence as a subdivision of HOA. This suggests it may represent a small niche group in a much broader neighborhood area. Furthermore, while these letters cite building code provisions and offer subjective opinions on aesthetics, none provided concrete examples of how granting this variance would cause detriment or injury to them or their neighborhoods. The absence of specific measurable impacts reinforces that the carport poses no harm to public safety, health, or quality of life. Upon reviewing the map on page 48 of the report, Infill Development, which points out several new homes that were built in the past 5 or 6 years, it is evident that nearly all the homes indicated they received one or more variances during their construction. With the exception of my immediate neighbors, Richard, Martha, and Mary Jo at 1180 East Irvin, these properties deviated from the original neighborhood pattern in various ways. Many are positioned very close to roadways, some are significantly larger homes on smaller lots, and all exhibit greatly reduced setbacks. Importantly, the approval of these variances did not result in an influx of similar requests throughout the area. This demonstrates that granting a variance does not inherently undermine neighborhood integrity or trigger widespread nonconformity. My request for a carport is modest compared to these prior deviations and will still maintain the overall character of the community. If the variance is granted, I'm fully committed to work with the Division of Planning and Development to develop a final site plan that addresses any outstanding concerns identified during this hearing. My goal is to ensure my endeavor maintains neighborhood integrity. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the applicant? Okay. Okay, so you have about 1 minute left of your 10 minutes. If you get 2 more minutes, you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you
Very much. right, so I have some cards here, or if the people want to just come forward. If you'll give your name and address for the record.
My name is Jean McInerney, 1361 West Crestwood Drive, 38119.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm here to represent the concerns of the Yorkshire Neighborhood Association. Mr. Gill, who is the Design Review Committee Chairman, was unable to be with us at this meeting today and asked that I speak on his behalf. The Yorkshire Neighborhood Association was created in 2019 in response to considerable infill development that was occurring within our neighborhood and the desire for residents to be engaged in the zoning process and to have a direct say in how their neighborhood was developing. The second driving force for the creation of the association was public safety. And for the record, Mr. Gill is a resident in Yorkshire. He does have a business address also in Germantown. If you would like to follow along on the staff report, the association's opposition letter starts on page 35 of the latest staff report. The association received inquiries from residents who did receive the public notice. I think they were received in the mail, some of them the day after Thanksgiving. So we became aware of the case by virtue of those notices and of residents contacting us with alarm and concern about the variances that were being requested. We agree with the staff that the applicant has failed to provide appropriate justification for the variances. There are no unusual characteristics to the lot, no undue hardship, and in terms of tree maintenance, one of the defining characteristics of our neighborhood that so many neighbors love is that we are blessed with an abundance of mature trees. Nearly every homeowner has annual expenses to take care of tree maintenance, and we all have experiences, certainly every year, getting the leaves up, and also of having to deal with fallen limbs during storms and whatnot. Based on the feedback that we received from residents, and by the way, some of the public comments that you received are within the impact zone. If an exact count is necessary, I can check that after I make my comments. But the feedback that we received is that the accessory structure as exists on the property today fails to complement the primary residence it's intended to support. It's inconsistent with the streetscape and is out of character with the Yorkshire neighborhood. With all of the infill development that's occurred in our neighborhood, the placement and the appearance of this portable carport detracts from the character and the charm of our neighborhood. Allowing the variances will be detrimental to the entire neighborhood. And there has been considerable infill development that is not shown on our page 48 and 49 of the staff report. We showed you the 18 projects which had been approved since 2018, I believe it was, either on East Irvin Drive or had originally, or on lots which were originally on East Irvin Drive but reconfigured in a planned development. In addition to those, we have development of, I think it was 12 houses off of Haney Road, and we've had several other applications where a lot was re-subdivided and maybe 2 new houses were built at a time. So the 18 houses that we listed were only from that immediate area, certainly not the activity overall that's occurred in our neighborhood. We did offer those, the aerial and spreadsheet to give you a sense of how much infill has occurred on this street and to give you a sense of the character of that street. Again, the feedback we got from residents is that they are extremely concerned that approval of these variances will be a convenience to a property owner, but detrimental to other neighborhoods, to other residents in the neighborhood. And we urge you to reject these variances and to not permit the portable carport to remain in front of the structure. If you have any questions about the letter that was submitted, I'd be happy to answer any of those.
Any questions? No, thank you.
That's all?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have another card, I believe. Do we have anybody else that was speaking in opposition? Maybe not. Okay. All right, we're going to move back to the applicant. And so you have 3 minutes to come up and
There is
rebut.
one speaker in support.
Oh, then, yeah, she can come up and do that too. Yeah, that's all part of the 3 minutes though.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry about
go
that.
first then.
Go ahead. Give
Hi.
your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Jamila Bajrovic. I reside at 2280 Wickerwood Cove, Memphis, Tennessee, 38119.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole
I-
truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I
Okay,
do.
go ahead and share with us.
So, yes, it's a very charming neighborhood, and I don't think that the carport is ugly in any sort of way. It actually blends in with the neighborhood. If you walk down the street, many of the homes are very different. There's not one home that is similar. They all have different characters, which I think is very appealing to the neighborhood. As far as the carport is concerned, it's set very far back, and there are huge, beautiful trees that surround it, so you can barely see it. As far as the neighbors, I don't believe that there's one neighbor that has ever complained about it or said anything negative about it. Mr. Hengy is a very excellent neighbor. He takes care of his property. All of his neighbors know him. They adore him. The dogs love him. So I think it's actually quite lovely, to be quite honest. And I think it blends in very well. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions? Okay, if the applicant will come up and if you have anything to add. Go ahead.
Brooke, just to rebut the opposition, clear, I'm asking for one variance, not variances. There seems to be confusion with the neighbors, apparently. Again, she reiterated that people don't like looking at it, but they provided no evidence to support their claim of detriment or injury to the neighborhood. In the answer we heard, there were 6 people were in the impact zone area that were letters from. The rest were from outside, and again, likely prompted by the neighborhood association. I will ask that, I asking for approval of this to allow me to keep it there and protect my vehicle. And but if denied, I would ask for 120 days to have it removed, if that's okay, to get me past the winter weather. Just sure I have a good time. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, if we could get a motion to approve BOA 2025-115 as conditioned by staff.
So moved.
Second. All right, any discussion? All right, I'll say it. I think it was bad. Like, I know it's kind of hidden, but then from some of the other pictures, it doesn't, and there's a reason why the code doesn't let us have metal carports and doesn't let us have them in front of the structure. I mean, it is more hidden than some that we've denied, but I think we've been fairly consistent on not letting metal carports go in front yards, just based on the code.
I don't think we've accepted one. Yeah. There's a 2-car garage, so it sits behind it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes we given a variance to it, maybe because there wasn't even something to park under. This just feels like a push too much.
I'm trying to think of the last time we let one. I think I can think of one that had been there for a while that we approved down south of Lamar. But I think we denied our veteran in the last couple meetings. We denied, I think, the one that was over by Home Depot in Midtown. So they did the whole Because that was pretty intense. The whole yard was a metal carport, which is different than this.
I agree.
But, a lot of people have trees. I do get the damage. I just don't know if that's enough to say it's unique and deserves a carport in the front yard.
I'm with you. I didn't see what the hardship was, the requirement of the hardship was defined and met, so that's why I'm having a hard time with allowing it. I don't see the hardship.
Yeah. I do think the applicant did a really good job of the report. It was really good, better than most that we hear. What about his request to keep it for a small amount of time?
What was it, 120?
He wanted 120, which would take us into April, or almost April, or no, mid-April, that's right.
It was mainly mentioned for the winter, right? I was gonna say, reduce it to 90, because I think she's still in kind of potential, yeah. And I don't have any real issue with that.
Okay, so Mr. Penzis, if we did that, we need to approve it with a 90-day sunset. Is that correct?
That is true. Now, normally, if you reject it, they have 60 days to comply, but obviously they couldn't just ask the environmental court for an extra 60 days as well.
Okay, so you're saying they're almost there anyway without us taking action. All right. Okay, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think that would be a better approach. I was sitting there thinking about, are we creating a precedent?
Mm-hmm.
So anytime we deny an application, they just ask for 120 days and we give them 120 days. I'd rather not create that precedent.
Fine.
So do we just not put that stipulation on it?
Yeah,
So we'll.
Sadly, environmental court may give them more time than that. Environmental court is a very slow-moving machine sometimes, so if it goes to that. Okay, so any other comments before we vote? All right, Mr. Penzis, can you give us a roll call, please?
Ms. Scurlock,
No.
Mr. Love,
No.
Ms. Conrad,
No.
Mr. Claybrook,
No.
Mr. Campbell,
No.
Mr. Bruce,
No.
Vice Chair Savage Selden.
No, I find that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 are not being met and will be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
And Chair Raymond.
No.
Motion fails.
All right. Thank you for coming down. Sorry we couldn't do more. Mr. Penzis, will you call our next case for us, please?
Item number 8, BOA 2025-122 at 1333 Fairfax Street.
All right, is the applicant present for the Fairfax? If you'll go ahead and come down to the front for me. And then, is there any opposition to the Fairfax case? All right, seeing none, let me get to my staff report real quick. All right, Ms. Nerick, you can give us a staff report, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Nabanita Nira with DPT presenting the case BOA 2025-0122 at 1333 Fairfax Street. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow a group daycare home on a minor street more than 150 feet of an intersecting arterial. These are the location map and vicinity map. The subject property is located in residential urban 1 zoning district, located within a close proximity of heavy industrial and employment zoning district. Existing industrial land uses on the east side of the subject property across the Fairfax Street. On the west side of Fairfax Street is mostly residential uses. The block has existing 13 single-family detached residential home, 1 single-family attached residential home, 1 place of worship, and 1 small vehicle storage lot. These are the site photos. The site has one-story single-family principal structure constructed in 1950. Previously this year, the applicant submitted a certificate of occupancy application for home occupation for childcare and has been issued for 7 children. However, it cannot be occupied as a home occupation daycare because the applicant does not reside in the existing structure. This is the site plan. The building is 912 square feet. The site has 11 feet driveway and fenced backyard. The Memphis Urban Area Metropolitan Planning Organization classification map shows that the Fairfax Street is a minor street, approximately 780 feet from the nearest arterial intersection, Chelsea Avenue. Also, if the, according to the UDC, the group daycare home must be on a minor street shall be within 150 feet of an intersecting arterial. Also, if the variance request is approved, the applicant still required to obtain a special use permit and would need to be approved by the Tennessee Division of Fire Prevention for 12 children. In conclusion, the property is more than 150 feet from intersecting arterial and cannot be occupied as a daycare home occupation. As mentioned before, the close proximity of heavy industrial and employment zoning district. Also, no hardship or practical difficulty presented by the applicant that justify approving this variance. The applicant's justification is existing layout can support a group daycare home. Staff recommend rejection. However, if approved, staff recommend the condition on the screen. This is the end of staff presentation. Happy to answer any question.
Okay, are there any questions for staff?
It's not currently being used as a daycare, right? This is just her first.
Yes, it's not currently in use.
Okay. If the applicant would come up, and if you can give your name and address for the record, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Cherie Coleman. My address is 6211 Sanborn West, Olive Branch, Mississippi, 38654.
Okay. Real quick, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Coleman.
I actually started this journey June of 2024, where I was working hand in hand with Ms. Verser and DHS to obtain a commercial location. I was having issues with obtaining a commercial location, so she recommended a home. The first home that I did encounter, she indicated that it was an acceptable location with a maximum of 15 children, up to 15 children for that location. And the only reason why that location did not go through was because there were some maintenance that needed to take place on a property that the owner was not willing to do. And so we had to go through with another location. So with the location that we came across after that, which is this current location, 1333 Fairfax, I was also told that I can have up to 15 children. Once she received the zoning letter, that changed. And I was confused because with the property that we were going to go with before, she received the zoning letter for that property as well, and I was still approved for 15 for that home. So what I did was I started trying to find out the proper channels that I needed to take, what steps I needed to take so that I can at least get to the 12 children. And so once I reached out, I started going through the zoning process, going through 901, spoke to several people. This is my first time going through this, so I was confused as to what to do, how to do, when to do. And I was just getting all kind of different advice, what I should pay for, what I should apply for, what I should do. I did not know that I needed to be residing in a property. I did ask one of the reps that I was working with. He told me I did not have to be residing in a property for it to be a group home, child care. And so we got all the way through everything to this point. I was told that I can have 7 by right, and I was actually trying to increase it by the 12. There's currently 2 childcare centers, commercial, within somewhere around a mile of that home. They're both located on Chelsea, one on Hollywood, the other one on Box. I forgot what that was street called. It's another one not too far from there, but they are all within that area. The only difference is they're commercial, and I understand there's a difference between commercial and residential. This has just been a passion of mine. It's been a long journey, like I said, 1.5 years. I'm not sure what steps I need to take, if I need to take any additional steps outside of what 901 was explaining to me and outside of what DHS was explaining to me, but I'm trying my best to do this the right way. I did explain to DHS there's several group home child cares that I know that are zoned for 7, operating way more. And so I asked 901 if DHS is allowing people to have 15 children in group home care and zoning is indicating 7, who is keeping track of this? Or, I mean, how do you go about making sure that everyone is being held to that standard? And 901 told me that it's not them, it's DHS that come out and do everything. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing things the right way. So I'm not sure how the outcome will come with this. I've already invested thousands into this home, into this process. I'm not sure what next steps I need to take. So.
Do you own the home or are you renting?
I'm leasing it.
You're leasing it.
And the property owner has been very supportive with going half on whatever needed to be done with the house, with the property with me. So, like I said, there's been a lot of money invested into this property, a lot of time, and I'm just not sure what steps I need to take next. If there's any other additional steps that I can take.
Sure. Going up, it's tough to see, and my eyes aren't that good. There's several vacant lots through there, aren't there?
There's one next to the property. There's one vacant lot next to the property. It's not in bad shape. The grass needs to be cut. But sure. Other than that, there is a few of them. Okay. We went through the process. I know on the street view, it doesn't show any fencing.
Right.
We went through. There's a brand new fence.
Yeah.
The structure that was in the back, it has been cleared. The whole backyard has been leveled. The front yard has been cleared. Everything has been cleared that was in the front. There's been additional maintenance done to the property where there's the electrical structure. There's been a lot invested into this property so that this center or this home care can be up and running legally and in the right form.
Any other questions for Ms. Coleman? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm going to ask, I don't think is there anybody here in opposition to this case? Okay, so if we could get a motion to approve BOA 2025-122 as conditioned by staff.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any thoughts?
So to use this by right, obviously, the by right option is to be a resident. To live there, to operate it out of your home, which gives you a maximum of seven kids, correct?
Correct. Up to 10 with a condition, but still having to live.
Okay. So living there is not living there, you have to follow the rules of the arterial street distances.
Yeah. Correct. It's an interesting area that across from it is, I think it's industrial, which a lot of residents aren't across from industrial. That's kind of unique. Makes it, as far as moving there, I would be less likely to want to buy something across the street from that. I think we have those distance requirements basically to try to keep neighborhoods neighborhoody. It doesn't, this property's a little different than a normal neighborhood, where I think that's going to prevent some investment in the area. And also, it's not like you have neighbors it's kind of like the one we did where you had the school across the street. You weren't right in the middle. Yeah, it was a little too far, but it wasn't like you have just a row of houses with people over there that you're going to bother with traffic. I think I could say that's unique about this property. So I think I would be inclined to approve this case as conditioned by staff.
What is the required distance, and what is the distance again that this one falls short of?
The required distance is 150 feet.
It's 780 or something like that.
780. This is where they're at.
Tim, I'm kind of inclined, because of the industrial aspect of more than just the neighborhood, kind of the surrounding area, I'm kind of inclined to view it different than some of the ones we've looked at in the past. But I guess even with the industrial area, you're telling me if this same industrial area, but the property was built within 150 feet of the street, this would be perfectly fine. Yeah.
Perfectly fine as in that it would not need a variance. It would still need a special use permit, which it still needs.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we vote? Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Question. Just approximately, how far is the subject site from the street to the south? I mean, if it's 800 from Chelsea, that's maybe half of that, so maybe somewhere between 300 and 400 feet.
I think it's more like 200.
Third.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking, Mr. Chairman, just with the idea of the traffic issue, I'm glad you pointed out the fact that there is some more intense land uses directly across the street from the site. And although Matthews may not be considered a major arterial, it is right there.
Yeah, we had that one that was off of Overton Crossing. And it was like that, that is not designated as arterial, but the makeup of that street feels arterial. And I think that some of these do too. I'm kind of like 300 feet. These are 45-foot lots. Is what it looks like in the top. But any other thoughts before we vote?
Might still have to go through a special use permit, so another step after us.
Correct. Okay. Mr. Pensis, you can give us a roll call, please.
Mr. Claiborne.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Bruce.
Yes.
Ms. Conrad.
Yes.
Mr. Love.
Yes.
Ms. Skurlock.
Yes.
Vice Chair Savage Selden.
Yes, I find that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 are being met and will not be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
And Chair Raymond.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. If you could, Mr. Secretary, give us a approved.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you
Thank
can.
you.
If you can call our next case, please.
Item number 9, BOA 2025-123 at 784 South Greer Street.
Okay, I see the applicant is present. Is there any opposition? All right. If we could get a staff report, please, from Mr. Colbert.
Yeah, I'm Joe Bain Colbert. I'm the planner assigned to this case. BOA 2025-0123. The applicant is Jose Carlos Roman, and it's located at 784 South Greer. The variance is asking for, but there's two. There's one that is asking for a driveway that does not extend 20 feet past the front facade, and a second one to allow a front yard parking pad. It's located kind of mid-south Memphis, and you can see 116 notices were mailed out, and we had 6 letters of support that were received. The zoning map, it's zoned R6 in that neighborhood, and then if you look at the land use map, you can see that it's mainly single family with a little bit of multifamily on that street. Here's some site photos. The one on the left is the most recent Google Street View image I could find, which shows the property before it was flipped in 2023, I believe. It was purchased by Mr. Roman, I think in November of that year. And to the right shows the current conditions of the home, which I took personally. To the left, you see the property as it was marketed on Realtor.com in mid-2023. As you can see that the garage has been taken in without permits. And then it was, that was the state it was in to the left when he purchased it in 2023. And then again, you can see the conditions currently. To the left shows current plants and fencing. And then on the right shows street parking available in front of the house there on the streets. Here's a site plan submitted. You can see that the parking pad is rather large that he built. There is landscaping in front as well, and the house sits just over 49 feet away from the street. Our conclusions are that we would recommend the approval of the first variance, allowing the driveway to not extend past the front facade of the home. And 2 of the more specific conditions for that approval would require a window to be installed in the front facade of the house in the area that was formerly the garage to match the existing windows. And then also the original concrete driveway is shown to remain. However, the pavement beyond the boundaries of the original concrete drive should be removed, which would be the second variance. So we'd ask for approval with conditions for the first. That's it.
Okay. Are there any questions for staff? Okay. If the applicant will come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Jose Carlos Roman at 784 South Greer Street, Memphis, Tennessee 38111.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Roman.
First of all, my sincere thanks to the Board of Adjustment and all who support this variance process for giving me the opportunity to present my case. Happy holidays to all. I've stated my name and the property address. I'm one of 2 property owners. The other is my godson, Carlos Mauricio Cruz Murillo. My grown, mildly autistic godson has been living with me for the last 25 years. After his older brother and father were sadly murdered, my intent is to pay off this house and leave it to him as I move into retirement in the next couple of years. So I am motivated to make sure I don't leave a mess for him. I want to make sure that we resolve everything according to agreements. God willing, I'll be celebrating 67 years this coming February. All the more important to resolve issues as I move into this final phase. By the grace of God, I'll be celebrating 30 years with FedEx also this coming February, working from the World Headquarters office in the Windike area as a strategy planning principal. 27 of those 30 years were based in FedEx's Latin America division, based out of Miami, Florida. 2 years ago, I accepted this promotion, but the caveat was that I'd be willing to move to Memphis. And that's what brings us to my transitional journey from South Florida to Memphis, Tennessee. The move move was very stressful. Out-of-state moves tend to be that way. The challenge is always coordinating closings from the house being sold and the house being purchased. And my coworker from Miami that made the move to Memphis a couple of years before connected me with his wife, who's a real estate agent. She's the one that found this house at 784 South Greer Street. At no point was there any mention that a garage had been converted to a third bedroom. And while this house was smaller than the 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 2-car garage I was moving from, that kind of forced me to put things in storage until I get situated. To finish this transition, I feel like I'm still in a state of transition with things in storage. That brings us to the current status with the 2 variances that I'm humbly and respectfully seeking to resolve. For the first of the 2 variances for subsection 4.4.4a, to allow a driveway that does not extend 20 feet beyond the front facade of the home. This is an issue I inherited from the seller of the home, which was created when a garage was converted into a bedroom. At no point was I made aware that a garage conversion had taken place or that appropriate permits had not been secured. Had I known, I assure you I would have avoided this predicament that has led to sleepless nights over the last several months. Considering older home repairs, I'm open to recommendations to reach a remedy, and I feel that the one size doesn't seem to fit all. It seems a bit strict and penalizing considering the great feedback I received from my neighbors on their satisfaction with the changes that I've made. For the second of the 2 variances, I humbly seek approval on the variance for item 4.5.2c to allow front yard parking. Basically, it's about safety. It's simply not safe to park on the street. It's important to note that in 2025, at least 56 auto thefts have been reported in the neighborhood, with 638 in the Tillman Police Precinct, which our neighborhood belongs to. This comes from the City of Memphis Safer Communities dashboard, Memphis Public Safety, Memphis Data Hub websites, a lot of publicly available information. And I do see plenty of cars with the windows busted out in the neighborhood. When the parking pad was built, I was unaware that it was not allowed by the UDC. The parking pad meets the requirement about adequate landscaping, as you've seen in the photos. And the only part of the code in violation is, of course, the distance of the parking pad from the street, which has to be at least 50 feet, which is not going to be possible because the front facade of the house is 49 feet from the street. Joe shared page 11, street parking with the little block on the street parking. My neighbor from across the street has specifically requested that I not park on the street because she has issues navigating in and out of her parking. You can see that her driveway is a short driveway with little runway for navigation. When there's parking on both sides of the street, it becomes a safety issue. There's no speed bumps. The cars tend to drive extra fast down this street because it's one of the few streets that no longer has speed bumps, and it becomes a safety issue with cars. When you have cars parked on both sides of the street, it becomes a one-car lane street. I'm one of those people that says hello to all my neighbors. The process forced me to knock on doors, soliciting their feedback. I'm happy to say that my contributions have given them hope for a better version of Messick Button. The blessing is that I've had the opportunity to meet them face to face, and while their feelings ranged from serious concern to being a little upset, all my neighbors I was able to connect with unanimously supported me in this process. As reflected on the forms, I created a form for them to sign along with their contact information so that you can contact them and speak with them directly. They are, I didn't realize I was bringing hope to the neighborhood, but that's the message that they conveyed. They feel like this is the first step in the right direction for positive change in the neighborhood. It being one of the lower household income, average household income neighborhoods in the city, lower than Memphis in general. They have struggled with this particular property, which had been a rental with people that were addicted to drugs, and it was a blight for the neighborhood. So they are just happy to know that I'm there to create positive change. In closing, my neighbors want me to keep the property as I have it now with no changes. It is improvement to the overall curb appeal of the neighborhood. To reiterate, I humbly and respectfully ask for your approval on both variances. Thank you kindly for your time today.
All right, thank you, sir. Are there any questions for the applicant? I have a quick, Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Did you talk to your neighbor to the north about possibly like getting an easement with them to use a lot of places in Midtown use one driveway that's on to get to the back? I didn't know if you explored that at all.
My neighbor has entered a nursing home. He has had heart issues for some time. And the last heart attack he had, I had to call the ambulance to come get him in the back. I heard him calling. I don't know where he's at right now, what nursing facility, but it would have been great. He does have a structure in the back of the house. I don't know if there would be clearance to use his driveway to get access to my house. On my property, I think it was page 5. There's an image on page 5, I think it is. What page is this?
Are these?
Next. It was an aerial image.
That's what I got.
Not this one, but I mean, you could focus. There's apparently a truck parked on the driveway, but it would be impossible to have clearance on either side of the house.
Oh yeah, there's definitely not room.
Okay.
Just your property, there's definitely not room.
Yeah, there's no clearance.
That other driveway.
That would probably be the only other option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt my options were very limited. I don't know what else to say on that.
All right, any other questions? How many cars, I mean, like, you can park 2, 3 in the parking pad? You gotta have room to turn, I know.
We have 2 cars right now. I was hoping to get another car, a van, but right now we just have 2 cars.
And what you would like to do is have 3 on the pad and leave the driveway open so you're not blocking anything. Right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
Did you have any objection to the window being installed on what used to be the garage, the carport?
Objections from my neighbors?
No, I mean, do you object? I think that's one of the conditions. Do you object to that condition?
Well, I don't object, but if you look at the left side of the house, it kind of juts out a little bit. So I think if I were to get windows the exact same size, it's probably not going to look aligned because the roof comes out a little bit more, which means the windows are going to be installed below whatever the code is for having windows installed. And that means that the bottom portion of the window won't be aligned with the windows next to them. So it's going to be a little off. It'll probably be like this, windows over here and windows a little higher. So it might not look synchronized or aligned. It might look a little odd. I thought about that, and that was,
Okay.
yeah, unless the windows were to be cut a little bit shorter, and then they probably wouldn't be standard size.
Other questions?
More of a comment, Mr. Chairman. In lieu of a window, is there the potential to put some kind of architectural detail that would kind of make that blank wall look a little better? I was thinking like maybe a trellis or something like that that would kind of soften that white space without having to, because I agree with the comment on those windows. It may look a little off if it's not, it's typically you want the windows to be, in a line. It may look a little off. Just my thought.
Yeah, even like, you see on like back patios sometimes, you just got a big blank wall, like even like a metal piece of just metal work. It's just, there's something that just kind of keeps it pops on it and it keeps it from looking so like, wow, that's just a big flat wall sticking out the front. But, okay. That's beauty in the eye of the beholder though, Sean. I get that.
I don't have any ideas.
Right, yeah. Okay, any other questions?
I'm confused about it says staff approves with conditions, and conditions say to remove the concrete except for the driveway. Am I reading that wrong?
Correct. If we were going to allow the parking pad, we'll have to play with those conditions.
Okay, but shouldn't it be rejected instead of approved?
So the original concrete driveway is a parking pad by default as well. So our condition was it would have made the parking pad that the applicant did rejected, but the original driveway parking pad allowed to remain. Because the moment they enclosed the former carport, it made the driveway a parking pad.
Understood. Okay, thank you for that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments before we go to discussion? Okay, so if we could get, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
If we could get a motion to approve 2025-123 as conditioned by staff. So moved.
Second.
Okay, seconded and moved. Any comments?
So, I think overall, just looking at the 2023 picture to now, it does look highly improved. Like, I think just general, I think the property looks improved. So that's a good thing. I understand the reasons for the parking pad, and strangely, because he added all the vegetation in front of it, I can't tell it's a parking pad back there. But that's just my 2 cents.
I agree with you. I think what made this one unique from some of the others that we did not approve is the fact that you did put some vegetation and
screened it.
Yeah, you screened it very well. The ornamental fence as well. It's very well done.
I appreciate those comments because I'm looking at this and, I don't have any problem with the parking pad. In my mind, I was trying to figure out, well, how do we distinguish this from the other cases where we did not allow a parking pad? And you've given some good reasons, so thank you.
Yeah, I think a condition that would have been added on even other cases is how do you screen it from view? And this one has already done so. And I think it looks strange. I think it looks better with the parking pad. Can't make that too well known, but yeah. So.
I would add that, right now, to meet the requirements of UDC, it would have to be right now, I mean, it's back about 20 feet, thereabouts.
The house edge is 49, so yeah.
So to me, the difference, because a lot of the cases that we've had before, that parking pad was right at the public right of way. So that's one. And then two, I think that there is a hardship or some uniqueness here because of the width of the lot. I think the applicant mentioned that he would rather have parking in the back, but physically you can't have it.
As well as the width of the street, the narrowness of it, parking on the street does present a hardship to the neighbor. I could see that for sure.
That is a real concern. Parking right in front of somebody else's house and
Blocking.
Okay. Other comments? So let's look at our conditions. Mr. Mormon would be able to stay. What about the window? Are we going to require a window there?
Is this like a real window or like a faux window, like a shutter type window? Like what is that room even used for currently?
And I think a window's a window, but I think we could say a faux window if we think we need to place one there. It's a bedroom.
I do see his point about the change in elevation. How it's, I mean, just looking at the picture, that window's going to end up being lower than the other. Not
Is that something we can recommend?
we can, of course we should.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I just hate to say a window. They go put a window. Now the window looks wacky because we didn't put a parameter on the window, and I don't want to start putting parameters on windows.
I agree.
You know,
I think that gets a little.
Well, could you guys elaborate on some of the other options you talked about? What are, just help me follow what those are.
I mean, so trellis ideas, you put up some sort of, you can buy those little metal trellises or put up a wooden trellis and you put some, potted plants that can grow on it possibly. That's one thing I've seen people do. Another thing is like some sort of decorative piece, but then I have one in my head because I used to have one, but I don't know where to find it, to say, hey, do this.
I think it's so subjective to what would look good for that situation that it can, like the trellis might be good, but then somebody might think it's completely the tackiest thing in the world. So,
well, I've seen wooden trellises look great. I've seen wooden trellises that look terrible because they wear out over time and they're sagging and they're bad. So you hate to do something that could look bad later.
and this was an existing condition, right, before purchase.
I personally want to do something to it. I don't know how to say you need to do exactly this. This is what I don't get. And I don't think it would be a window. So do we want to keep number two?
Number two is the window.
The two's the window. Okay, so is there any objection to removing number two from the board? Okay, so number two is removed from our motion. What about, and so number three, I think it seemed like we wanted to remove that as well, which would basically just allow the existing thing to exist. How about we add a new number two that says, he's already done this, so let's make a condition that he keeps, some sort of landscape screen in front of it. I know he plans to do it, but at least it'll be there.
No, I'm fine with that.
Going with the property.
So he doesn't ever chop it down for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good because, at least for me, that's the main reason we're approving the parking pad, because that screen is there. So let's make that a condition.
So how about it needs to be, they need to maintain a decorative metal fence vegetative screening in front of the fence. Did you get that, Jeffrey? Does that make sense?
Yes. And should the vegetation be evergreen?
That would make sense. I mean, but it's got decorative grass there now that isn't evergreen, but it does kind of stay there.
Don't require evergreen, they just require a certain spacing and below shrubs.
The only reason I bring up the evergreen is because if you do the version by the code, we do make them put in evergreen shrubs, even when it is 50 feet setback.
But for the evergreen shrubs, that is not everything there needs to be evergreen. He would need to add some evergreen shrubs. Right? Like the decorative grass is not evergreen, but he wouldn't have to remove all that. He would have to just add the evergreen in, I would think.
Let me ask the zoning administrator.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that would be correct. So there's a depth there that would allow the planting that's there and also adding some shrubs. So.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense to me. How would y'all state that? Would you like, or does that just say in accordance with a certain land?
I think basically what you said, and we added the word evergreen. That would, I mean, he can
That
still
would
keep those.
That would cover it. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Because there's planting on both sides of that fence.
Right. So as the modified, he would just have to add the evergreen. I mean, if you do you want him to maintain these ones, or if he maintained only the evergreens and these eventually went away, would it matter? Because if we changed Tim's condition as for say evergreen, right, he would add the evergreen, but it wouldn't technically make these ones stay there. But if you tell us you want these to stay, we can make sure they're on the approved site plan as well.
I think we want them to stay. Like, I like the fact it's not just a couple shrubs in front of the fence. He built a garden in front of the fence.
Okay.
And that helps with the buffering between the street, that it's not just one row. It looks really good.
So are we, let me make sure I'm following. Are we talking about requiring him to maintain that and plant evergreen shrubbery? Because
that's what we're discussing, if we want to do that or not.
So I mean, I would say if we just require the evergreen, leave it up to him whether he wants to leave that or put flowers or anything else. But we just require. I would rather us not require all of it. Leave something up to him. The main thing for us is that we block it from the view of the street, and the evergreen would do that. I would suggest we just require the evergreen shrubbery, and then whatever else he does to decorate it, leave that up to him.
Don't you have can we ask a question?
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably.
Isn't the Cleara that's on the house side of the fence is evergreen?
I'm sorry?
The Cleara?
That is on the left-hand side along the fence, inside, yes.
Yes, so it's on, there is evergreen on the inside part of the fence that exists.
And I just wanted to point out, and you probably saw on page 14 is the landscaping outline with the various, okay. But the driveway leads all the way up to the house. So if there's planting to be done, that would have to be cut. The driveway would have to be cut out so that there could be exposed dirt, and there could be some planting done in front of that blank wall.
You have to take something out with those evergreens.
That's just,
Well done. Now, sort of.
That's already in the site plan like that, as we did it, so, yeah. I think there's enough there, that, yeah, okay, very good. So we're not gonna add the word evergreen, I don't think. That's okay with everybody. Okay, so, so we have a new condition 2, just without maintaining that.
So the way you stated it, but without the word evergreen.
Correct. Okay, okay.
I also wanted to point out that these are young, new plants. As they continue to grow, they'll pretty much cover that entire space.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we vote? Okay. Mr. Prentice, can you give us a roll call, please?
Ms. Scurlock,
So I'm voting yes for,
All the new, the removed conditions and the new number 2 of the landscape.
okay, yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. Bruce,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Claybrook,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Vice Chair Savage Selden.
Yes, I find that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 are being met and will not be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
And Chair Raymond.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, you've been approved like it is. Thank you.
No further changes?
No further changes.
Thank you. God bless.
Yeah, you too. Do we have another case?
Item number 10, BOA 2025-125 at 1723 Union Avenue.
Okay. Is the applicant here?
Kendra Cobbs, DPD. No, the applicant is not here.
Okay, so we're gonna reject it. No, we'll, no, we'll, why don't we do a 30-day hold?
And Mr. Chairman, I did speak with the applicant earlier this week. They said that they were ill and probably wouldn't make it. We never got confirmation on it, so
Yeah,
we just wanted to.
Absolute 30-day hold. So is there a move to approve a 30-day hold on agenda item 10?
We'll say 1 month, because 30 days will be very early next month.
Second to her. Okay, all those in favor of the hold, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Do we have any public announcements?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
All right, with that, we are adjourned. Do we have any private announcements?